Hello, everyone. Welcome to my Jerusalem studio. I'm in the old city of Jerusalem. I hope you like my background. That's actually a wall in my humble hotel room here in the old city in the Christian Quarter. And this is actually a building. I think the walls have got to be 3 to 4 feet thick, built either in the 18th or 19th century. I'm not sure. It used to be a private house. And I know the people that are in charge of it in their 4 rooms that they rent out. And I love this rather than staying in a modern hotel, which you can get anywhere in the world. This is special to me, and I get a lot of work done. And I've been here about, let's see, 8, 9 days now. The first 7 days, I was all over the country filming. Down south at Qumran, where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found, all the way up north of Tiberias, and on up north the Sea of Galilee, and even further north past Safat. Some of you might know about Safat. And then over to Caesarea on the Mediterranean. And now I'm in Jerusalem for the weekend. And I have today the Sabbath and Sunday and a bit on Monday, and then I'm flying back. But I wanted to give you a little report. This is very informal. I don't think I'll even edit it. Just leave all my mistakes and bloopers in. Maybe they add something to the effect. So the filming was really hard because it's very hot here and there's a lot of walking and a lot of climbing. But we did it and it was just spectacular. We even had a drone to get overhead shots. I really enjoyed it. And we're working on a program about the historical Paul, finding the historical Paul. So I'll tell you more about that someday. It's going to be a while before that would come out. But as far as today, I want to talk about Jerusalem, and I'm going to make some more videos. But today I went out early in the morning and I filmed Mount Zion. This is my 75th trip to Jerusalem. So I consider it somewhat of an anniversary. Something about that number 75 is amazing to me. I can't even believe it myself. Imagine flying across the ocean from the United States to the Middle East 75 times round trip. It's something else. If you've read my book, The Jesus Dynasty, I open it with the story of how I came here as a teenager at age 14 and how it changed my life. In fact, I went on a quest for the historical Jesus that week when I was 14 years old. I became so interested in finding out what could we really know historically. You know, back in those days, there wasn't a lot of archaeology. It was mostly pilgrims coming, and that's basically what I was. I was with my family. On my YouTube channel, there's a raw video, home movie, silent, of that trip. It's all fuzzy and washed out, but it's color, and you can see me if you look it up. It's on the YouTube channel. My first trip. So this is my 75th, and this morning I wanted to visit what brought me here in 1990. In July 1990, I came, and I was carrying with me a copy of Biblical Archaeology Review, the May-June issue 1990, and I arrived in July, and that issue on the cover prompted my trip. I wanted to come over here, and I wanted to talk to the author, Father Bargill Pixner, now passed away. I couldn't even have imagined how he became one of my closest friends over the years and how much I learned from him. But he had to be the world's expert on Mount Zion and its history in the first century. So I kind of retraced my steps, and I've taken hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there over the years, students and tour groups and so forth, and individual friends, and spent many weeks investigating the area that I'm going to show you. It's really fabulous. So I've got a video, but first I want to introduce it a little more. So here's a good shot of the area that I'm talking about. Okay. So when you watch the video, I hope you can see my cursor here, the blue. I'm going to come down this path. You can't see it. And all of a sudden I film right here and I walk out into this amazing field. Now it looks green when this picture was taken. And this is what I'm sort of focused on. Let me see if I can zoom in a little. I'm not going to tell you what that is. It's ancient and modern. It's a cover, but what's under it is very ancient. And it is associated with Jesus and the Jesus movement and James. But this entire field was inside the city of Jerusalem. Now it's outside the old city wall. Here's the city wall here, and it goes around. But Mount Zion was inside. So this is the largest area in ancient Jerusalem that is not built up with all kinds of residences and buildings and churches and so forth. But you've got tennis courts. This is a soccer field, and the Greek Orthodox Church owns it. And this is a seminary for young Greek boys to come and train to become priests. But there's nothing built here. But if you excavated down 1 to 1.5 meters, and we know that because we did radar ground scan all over it, you would come to first century dwellings. In fact, inside this courtyard right in here, it was excavated by Father Pixner. And I don't have that picture. It's an old picture, but maybe I can find it later and show you. But it's pretty fabulous because it shows the remains of the first century city in an excavated kind of view with just the foundations of the buildings and ritual baths and so forth. It was a Jewish area. But I believe that the Jesus movement had its headquarters right here. So adjacent to what I think was the church on Mount Zion, let's call it a synagogue on Mount Zion, is this property. So it's very relevant. So this is looking north at the top, south, east and west, just as we typically orient maps. So I'm going to play this video for you. But before I do that, I'm going to also show you another scene that you're going to see in the video, but I want to show you a close-up of it. So you'll see this in the video, but this is a zoom in. And this is just south of where I am in the video and in that picture that you saw of the field. And it's across the Hinnom Valley, not very far, just a few kilometers, and you see this hill. And this hill is where the Talpiot tombs are, just south of the old city. So there's the road on the southern edge of the old city, and there's Talpiot. So I just add that because you can see it from Mount Zion. People think it's hard to find or far away or whatever, but you could easily walk across and get to this in about probably 25, 30 minutes. And then one other thing before I go to the actual video that I made this morning. Hold on. This is the cover of the magazine I was covering right there. You can see May, June 1990. And the key article in this issue of Biblical Archaeology Review is Church of the Apostles Found on Mount Zion. This is a PDF. And I'm going to put a link to this PDF with this video so you can actually read this article. And I think you're going to be amazed. And it'll tell you all about the area, and you can see it has the footnotes and everything. It's all formatted for use, and I'm using it with permission. So That was 1990. So this is what brought me in 1990. And I think that was only my third trip. And now I've made 75 trips. So I wanted to come back and share some things with you. So here's my YouTube channel, James Tabor Videos. Most of you know it. If you're watching this, you might know it, but we have new people. Hey, look, we hit 66,000 subscribers last night. And I haven't even posted anything in a week. I haven't had time, but people keep coming to it. So if you scroll on down, there's so much here. There are hundreds of videos. I've tried to organize it where you can find things, but there's some shorts. Here's the latest additions to the channel. That's where you'll find this once I post it. Videos that people have liked the most. But here under special series, you see these? This one got a lot of attention. It's called Last Days of Jesus. And if you hit the full playlist here, you can see that it covers some of the Jerusalem archaeology when you get to the end of Jesus' life. And so if you start with episode 12, 13, and so forth, here's a virtual tour, 14, crucifixion, final week. So I think you'll really enjoy this if you haven't ever looked at it or seen it. And I just typed in Jerusalem as a search term. I just wanted to show you. Look at this. Look at all the material on Jerusalem. 75th trip, 34 years. I've been doing these things. Look at this. All of this is Jerusalem, excavations, history. Quite a bit. So back to the story. So I'm going to show you the video and give you the little tour of what first drew me here. So I'm kind of moved by this, I know the specific area might not mean that much to other people who haven't been here, but you can see that personal connection that I have from 34 years ago. I was very moved this morning. I sat down on that wall that you'll see and went into some deep thinking and memories. It's amazing how vivid things can be. I could picture Father Pixner, walking toward me and his amazing knowledge and how much I came to love him. And I wanted to visit his grave. It's up there at the Dormition Abbey, but everything was locked up for the weekend. So enjoy the video. I've got a lot of things I want to tell you about this trip that I'll slowly be bringing out. And not to be sensational or tantalizing, but why not? Some of the things are new and fresh and I think very, very important. So enjoy, and I'll see you next time. As I've mentioned, this is my 75th trip to Jerusalem 24 years ago in July, and I'm making this in July. I walked down this pathway. I'm in Jerusalem on Mount Zion, and this is the Greek property. And I came in, and I'd read about this in the Bar magazine cover story. And I'll post a picture of it later when I put this video up on YouTube. And I looked at this huge property, and I've got a photo, I'll show you an overview. Look at it. Soccer field, tennis court, basketball, but it doesn't stop there. As you go out and walk into it, you can see that there's another level. And this is not inside the present old city, but this was the top and center of Mount Zion in the first century, in the time of Jesus. So this was the most prestigious area. Herod's palace was just up here to the north. And look at this, more property. It's amazing. And I was just so taken with this. I considered it a holy place. And over the years, I've done many things here. We've done radar ground scan. We actually have measured this field down to the centimeter and even corrected the city maps. And there are structures beneath, not far below. And it's just amazing. And straight ahead there, let me get past these wires. This is an informal video. I'm just using my iPhone, so bear with me. By the way, everywhere you go, you see that red Roman piece of pottery, that thin redware. That's from the 1st century. It's all over the place. So I've spent hundreds of hours up here, and now I'm returning after 34 years. I just have a few days. Let me show you this. If I'm standing on Mount Zion, see that hill in the foreground? If I'm standing on Mount Zion and I zoom in to that hill in the background there, that's as far as I can go. That's Talpiot. That's where the Talpiot tombs are, right there. So you can see how close it is and this is from the heights of Jerusalem. Take a look, it's amazing. But I want to go look at this mikveh, and I'm going to show you something. This is a huge mikveh. You know, a mikveh is a ritual bath. Now, this property is owned by the Greeks today, the Greek Orthodox Church. And so they would call it a baptistry. But in the time of Jesus, of course, it's a mikveh. And you have to ignore the concrete structure. It would have been open, and that was all added later. So I've got to go here to show you what I want to show you. And if you look here, if I can get a picture through this grating, I think I can. Let me put my water down here. You'll see these steps. There, that's perfect. Now notice, steps going up, steps going down, and they go down to a pool area, which is below me. But I want to go back to this. You see going up in the middle, between the cut steps, you also see steps. Well, why would there be steps there? Who would walk down that and then it just drops off? Those are the original steps. If you imagine, you can see how those went all the way across. Many of you have seen pictures of mikvahs. I'll put one up to illustrate when I edit this video. So you see, it was originally a mikvah with those long steps going the whole width of the 2 steps and the middle. And those are the steps of a mikvah. And they've been cut, but there are 3 left at the top. Look, there's still 3 left. So those are back to the time of Jesus, of Second Temple. And this is a public mikvah. So Christians are very interested in this. If the Christians are meeting on Mount Zion in the upper room, and Peter is preaching in Acts 2, and 3,000 people are baptized, did you ever wonder where would they be baptized? And here we are at what I think might be the largest mikvah in Jerusalem. It's certainly the largest on Mount Zion, and it's still preserved. I've been down under, I've walked through the tunnels, thoroughly explored this area, but I wanted to introduce it to you all.